People fleeing across the ocean in a dinghy.
The key word here is not dinghy or ocean, it's people.
These people are simply brandished migrants, immigrants, refugees, but they are people.
Self-proclaimed international rescue and freelance Coast Guard, Nigel still haven't got a proper job, but let me attack others. Farage calls them benefit scroungers.
Your house has been bombed, your friends, your family and relatives have been raped and tortured by the regime. You've escaped the country to save your life. But your main priority, according to Farage, is the £37.75 you get a week.
That's a whopping £5.39 per day. That's the equivalent to one extra value medium chicken legend meal at McDonald's to be shared between a family.
That's about 3 fries each and a bite of a frozen reheated chicken fillet. That's definitely their motive to come here, Nigel.
Yalla, Ibrahim, our family has been murdered, tortured and raped by the Taliban. Our house and possessions have been destroyed. But come on, let us go to Kent for the big time. For the £37.75 inshallah. No, Ahmed. No, Ahmed. We cannot get past this guy. He looks like the Terminator who has trained to kill with Sudokus and the Daily Mail crossword.
Nobody's coming here to take advantage of the benefits. They're coming here to take advantage of the human rights.
Our British way of freedom, of not having our house blown up by 17 Scud missiles.
Or being able to walk down the street without having 17 secret police drag you into a van and then drive you to a secret detention centre where nobody knows exists.
What is the right-wing press and media really scared of?
That the British people might actually get on with them, and they might actually have more in common with the foreigners than the natives.
Right-wing politicians, activists and speakers are always shouting, they're trying to steal our jobs.
When, ironically, people like Farage, Tommy Robinson, Paul Goulding and Nick Griffin have never worked a day in their life. How can you steal a job of someone who hasn't got a job in the first place? Farage spends most of his days walking around looking like a 1982 Football Manager reject, collecting milkshakes, like his mate Tommy Robinson, aka Stephen Yaxley Lennon, who never uses his real name for social security reasons, and also because he can't spell Yaxley Lennon.
When we came over to the UK from war-torn Iran with my family and relatives, I never used to dream of growing up thinking, when I'm older, I want to be in charge of you shit, or you skip, or you dip, or whatever it's called that crazy-eyed guy's in charge of.
I put more hours into the British system and society, working in factories, on the roads, in supermarkets, in shops for minimum wage. I worked more hours in my teenage years than Tommy Robinson has worked in his whole life.
I think we really need to ask, why are people risking everything, their whole life, to go across these unsafe waters in a dinghy?
And then ask Nigel and Tommy if they can hold their breath underwater for a couple of hours, just so that we can get a bit of peace. Governments and regimes of countries that have mass exodus of people fleeing persecution. These dictators are the ones that should be targeted and not the people who are becoming refugees.
If 20 asylum seekers come over from Afghanistan in a dinghy, then we should send over a party boat from Sunderland with 20 hen and stag doos to the Afghan government offices to see how the Afghan dictator copes with them.
And you'll see a change in that regime quicker than you can say, all right, Jackie, that's enough now. Stop twatting him with that inflatable penis. I think he understands what you're saying. And don't damage it, because Lisa wants to use it later. And stop demonising groups.
The media and the press see a boat full of a dozen immigrants, refugees, and suddenly people start to panic thinking they're coming to pillage and rape.
But when we see a boat full of a dozen privileged middle-class people, we always say, oh, tell you, bon voyage. Lovely day for it. Good luck with the world record attempt.
Anyone worried that an immigrant or refugee child coming to this country won't fit in? For anyone thinking they don't sound like us, they don't look like us, they don't dress like us, what will the future look like?
You're staring at one, an immigrant from the Middle East. My first language was Farsi. If you're wondering, how will they sound and speak? You're listening to one speak now.
Not all immigrants and refugees sound or act the way Farage wants you to think. I have come for your women.
They're not coming to steal or pillage your women or any women. If only the same could be said of Farage.
Palestine, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Yes, Abdul, this is all okay. But what about Bianca in Rotherham? It says on Tinder she is single. Get the dinghy ready. And before you can say, but Tommy Robinson said that they're all grooming gangs. No, almost all of these pathetic evil men were born and raised in the UK.
It's not racist to arrest someone from a different religion or ethnicity to you, especially if they are guilty. Thankfully, they have been arrested and the victims have been heard.
But it is racist to assume that everyone from a certain religion is a child groomer. How many inflatable dinghies did Epstein and Weinstein come to town in?
Do say, look, people like me come here and we're not stealing your benefits or pillaging your land and livestock. We're not even touching your sheep.
But don't say. Yeah, they seem all okay. 22 people in that 6-man dinghy while that fella's emptying out the water with a broken plastic pot. One final thing. What, love? What? Nigel Farage and Tommy Robinson are being strapped into a dinghy and released to the Atlantic Ocean. I'll get me coat and harpoon.